Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing from the Xbox 360, Wet. Take a look at this cover right here. Now, Wet is one of the games that I really wanted to get after seeing E3. Just on a whole, the look of the game was just absolutely beautiful, plus Eli Hijusku is the voice actress in this. However, see, I'm a man of logic, so for me to get hyped up and get going just based on a game's look would just be an illogical and foolish thing for me to do. So, did Wet live up to the expectations that I set for it, or did it crumble short and die at my feet? Well, you're going to know after this review. Let's start off with basic concepts. The basic concept of the game, Wet, is that you play Ruby Malone, and she is a fixer. Basically, she goes around and does jobs for people, whether it's assassinate people, pick up certain items, or get from point A to point B. At the start of the game, one of her jobs goes wrong, and she wants to get payback on the people that wronged her. That's the basic concept of the game. So let's get into story itself. Well, the story can tie into the basic concept. The story isn't that in-depth. It does have a twist and turn here, but nothing that we haven't seen already in, like, everything else. So the basic story is very lacking. I mean, it's enough to hold your interest, but not for long. So let's just move up from story. The story isn't that great. Let's get into the graphics. One thing that Wet is great with is graphics and look. It's a very grindhouse, Quentin Tarantino-like look to it. It just has a great overall look to it. The graphics for the cutscenes are great. Not the best that you can get for the Xbox 360, but still better than that of, say, the Wii. So the graphics are good. Although out of cutscenes, the graphics could have been a little better. But the overall feel of the levels, the grittiness, maybe the level design, more than makes up for it. So the overall graphics is fantastic and definitely a strong suit of this game. Let's get into gameplay itself. Gameplay, there's quite a few aspects to gameplay. There's platforming, there's shooting, and then there's combat. Platforming feels okay. It's not quite as good as, say, Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia. And it feels as though I'm very upset with the platforming because as good as it is, it can never be quite as good as Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia. See, Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, I guess, spoiled me. With the exception of maybe the Mario games, anything that does platforming, I feel as though it's just not as good. So, the platforming is, could be better. It doesn't have necessarily any problems, but it doesn't really show us anything that we haven't already seen. Shooting is similar to that of Max Payne, where you can slow down time. However, you can do it almost at any point, and in addition to that, it lasts for a longer amount of time. While this isn't anything new to gameplay, one thing interesting about it is instead of shooting at just one target, you can have Ruby shoot at multiple targets, which is kind of cool. However, the shooting aspect of the game gets old real quick. So that's one downside. And then basic melee combat. You get a sword. Yes, she walks around with a freaking katana. So she slices and dices people. There's not as much depth with this as with the shooting, and there wasn't much depth with the shooting at all. So the sword play isn't that great. I mean, you can do your basic slashes, you can slide and slash, or you can jump and slash. But besides that, there's not much depth to the sword play. Overall, the combat, you can link and chain certain combos together to get more points, and with those points, you can upgrade Ruby's weapons, maybe make them have a fire rate faster, or more damage, or perform specific acrobatic tasks. But the problem with this is, no matter how well you chain combos, no matter how well you do and get points, you never seem to actually get enough points to get all the cool upgrades in the game before the game ends. I've only played this game through once, so I don't know if your upgrades transition over into the next story, but it really doesn't much matter to me. Overall, the game overall, it's tough to say about Wet, because Wet feels like a bastard child to me. She feels as though it was built from like 5 different other games. It feels as though it's Max Payne, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, all flipped into one. The problem is when you're playing a game and you're trying to do everything and please everyone at everything, it's just not going to work. It's like one chick giving 5 guys blowjobs. Yeah, sure, the guy that's getting the blowjob then is having a good time, but everyone else is feeling left out. And while certain aspects of this game is nice, everything else it tries to do all at once just falls short. it would have been best if this game focused on one aspect and built off that, and maybe tried to work the other ones in after that. But because it tried to balance everything out, it just didn't work. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily a horrible game. This game is okay. It's passable. I played the game through once, and I'm probably not going to play it again. And that's the thing. If you have a little extra cash, you can actually get this new for $29. Is it worth it? I would actually buy it used for cheaper, and then it would be okay to get it. It has some enjoyable experiences to it. The art, the story, and the feel of the game is definitely the high points. The gameplay could have been better, and there's definitely going to be a sequel to this, especially how the game ended. So hopefully from the sequel they do better. But this is just passable at best and forgettable at most. Once you play this game through once, you're not going to play it again because you're going to just get bored of it real quickly. And then even afterwards, you're just going to put it down into your collection and forget about it. So if they do make a sequel to this, hopefully they make it better. But then again, I doubt even that's going to happen. So Wet, on a whole, I would give it probably a 6 out of 10 at best. If you see it used, and you have a little extra cash on you, you trade a few games in, and you really want to give it a shot, go ahead. But I wouldn't go out of your way for it. I really wouldn't. I'm sorry, Wet. It's a beautiful looking game. The characters look beautiful. The feel looks beautiful. But the game just falls short in gameplay. So with that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.